an old quiet village tucked between mountains and forgotten roads, there lived a young boy named Aaron, whose life had always been shaped by struggle long before he understood what struggle meant. And as the sun rose each morning, he would step out into the cold breeze with a heart full of silent questions about purpose, fate, and why life felt so heavy on such small shoulders. Yet he carried them anyway, hoping someday he would understand. And this is where his story begins. On a morning when the village roosters crowed a little too loudly and the wind carried a strange heaviness Aaron felt something shifting inside him, a feeling almost like fear, but deeper, like a whisper telling him that his life could be more than what he saw around him. He walked the narrow dirt path, past wooden huts and tired farmers, watching everyone work endlessly without ever looking up, as if they had accepted struggle as their only truth. And he wondered quietly if this was all life had planned for him too. But deep in his chest, a small voice kept insisting that he was meant for more, even though he had no idea what more meant. And this confusion often made him feel like crying. But he kept walking, holding the tears tightly inside like secrets the world would never hear. Aaron's father had passed away when he was young, leaving behind a memory more than a man, and his mother worked day and night, her hands rough and swollen from labor, her eyes always a little sad, and Aaron hated himself for not being able to give her a better life. One evening, he found her sitting by the doorway, staring at the sky with exhaustion carved into her face, and he realized that if he didn't change his life, their story would remain the same generation after generation, trapped in the same circle of poverty and pain. And that thought broke him deeper than any hardship he had ever faced. So that night he made a promise whispered so quietly even the wind barely heard it. I will rise, no matter how long it takes. From that moment, Aaron began waking before sunrise, helping villagers, chopping firewood, carrying water, doing tasks no one else wanted, not because he enjoyed suffering, but because he believed improvement begins where comfort ends. Day by day, he became stronger, more disciplined, more focused. And though people laughed at him for dreaming too big, for believing he could break the chains that held his family for generations, Aaron never stopped. For he knew that people who mock your dreams are the ones too afraid to chase their own. Months passed, seasons changed, and Aaron's determination became the talk of the village. Not in admiration, but in disbelief. How could a boy with nothing aim for something? But Aaron didn't care. He let their doubts fuel him. And every night, he would sit under the stars, imagining a different future, telling himself again and again, I don't need to be born lucky. I need to be born stubborn. And life, in its strange, unpredictable way, hurt him. One afternoon, while helping repair an old cart outside the village, Aaron met a traveling merchant who noticed the boy's discipline, strength, and hunger to learn. Impressed by his work ethic, the merchant offered him a chance to train and travel with him, to learn business, to understand the world beyond mountains and poverty. Aaron couldn't believe it. After years of silent suffering, someone finally saw him, not as a poor village boy, but as someone capable of greatness. With tears in his eyes, he sought his mother's blessing, and though her heart ached at the thought of losing her only child, she knew this was the door fate had opened, the door he had waited for all his life. She held his hands and whispered, Go, my son, go change everything. And so, Aaron left the village with nothing but determination and a promise to return, not as the boy who left, but as the man who rose. His journey was long, filled with mistakes, failures, and nights where he felt lost again. But he kept remembering his mother's eyes, his father's memory, and the tiny voice inside him that refused to die. Hers. Later, Aaron finally returned to the village. Not poor, not broken, not hopeless, but successful, wise, and strong, with enough wealth to rebuild homes, create jobs, and give every child a chance he never had. And when the villagers saw him, they realized they had misjudged him. For behind that quiet boy had always lived a storm powerful enough to change lives. And the lesson his life taught them was this: greatness doesn't come from where you start, but from the courage to take the first step, the patience to keep walking, and the strength to rise every time life tries to break you. Because no matter how dark your story begins, you can rewrite the ending if you decide to fight for it.